Hello all and welcome. This is about a 20-minute presentation on holistic health and pain, one of the most common conditions that plagues our country. I'm Dr. Kristen Bobick. Just to briefly introduce myself, I'm a chiropractic physician with specialties in acupuncture and nutrition. I have a private practice here in the Northwest Chicago suburbs, and I also teach for 3 different facilities. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. There is no topic more popular than health right now. But before we get into the good stuff, let's take a moment to acclimate ourselves to the current situation in our country. The number one reason people miss work in the United States is pain. The most common type of pain is low back pain, with 57% of Americans having low back pain currently. The second most common pain is headaches. In this country, we spend $50 billion on back pain treatments. Now, pain is like the body waving the white flag. Things are happening beneath the surface of the body for a long time before we're necessarily aware of them. And the body waves the white flag to tell us, hey, I can't do this anymore. We have to do something differently. I need your help. And that white flag can show up as pain or a disease process. Now, before we can think about where we're going as a country with improving our healthcare, we need to understand where we've been and where we are. The current risk of getting cancer in women aged 30 to 49 is 1 in 12. And those are statistics by the American Cancer Society. I don't know about you, but I don't like those odds. According to the CDC, in 2012, there were 1.5 million new cases of cancer diagnosed. But the good news is that we are now ranked number 2 in obesity. We formerly held the number 1 spot. The World Health Organization ranks us number 37, despite the technology, wealth, and brilliant minds that are accessible by the U.S. And we do rank number 1 in heart disease. One of my favorite quotes is actually by a pharmaceutical company. Even the pharmaceutical company's research admits that only 5 to 10% of all cancer cases can be attributed to genetic defects, whereas the remaining 90 to 95% have their roots in environment and lifestyle. And they further go on to clarify that the term environment and lifestyle means things like smoking, drinking, obesity, our nutrition and diet, and so forth. All of those are things that we can change. So what they're really saying is that 90 to 95% of cancer can be changed or prevented, and we have the ability to control that to a large degree. But did you know that as prevalent as cancer is, it isn't even the leading cause of death in our country? The top 4 causes of death in the U.S. today are heart disease, cancer, medical malpractice, and stroke. Now I'll pose to you this question. What are the early warning signs of these conditions? Just think about it for a moment. You might be thinking something like a stroke could have difficulty speaking or drooping in the face. Maybe if you have heart disease, maybe you have a history of heart attack and so forth. But this was actually a trick question. There are no early warning signs. If you have tingling down your arm and jaw pain, you've already had the heart attack. Another great example, though it is more dramatic, is the example of a brain tumor. Let's say that you woke up this morning with a headache, and it's the worst headache you've ever had. Nothing like it. So you go to your medical doctor, and one thing leads to another, and you get some imaging of your brain. and next thing you know, you have a brain tumor. It might seem to you that that happened just this morning. You were fine yesterday, and now you're not fine. But we know in reality that that's actually a process that's been developing beneath the surface of the body for a long time, and it just chose to present itself on the surface today. And the same goes for heart disease, cancer, and stroke. So knowing that information, just because you feel okay, does that necessarily mean that you're healthy? In order to answer that question, we need to define what health is. And it sounds like an abstract term, but it's actually not. There is an actual definition of health that is adopted by all major medical textbooks in the world, including Gray's Anatomy. Not the TV show, but the textbook that is the cornerstone for the medical profession. And that definition is the ability to function at 100% mentally, physically, and socially. Now that's worth repeating. Health is the ability to function at 100% mentally, physically, and socially. And this definition tells me two important things. First of all, health is about function. Health is about how well the body works. How does it adapt? How does it respond to challenges? Nowhere in the definition did we say health is the way you feel. And the second thing I discern is that health is mental, physical, and social. It's all encompassing. So everything from our stress levels to our social life to what we do with our physical body, even the way that you're sitting in your chair right now, will affect our body's ability to function and therefore our health. Another definition that I'm fond of is the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Now, this isn't the actual definition, but it's a quote that's commonly known in our country. So if we want to change being ranked number 1 for heart disease and obesity and number 37 by the World Health Organization, we can't do what we've been doing. And this applies to each of us individually as well. If you continue to do the things that got you to where you're at today, you will stay exactly the same. And speaking of amazing quotes, another one of my favorites is by Hippocrates. You may have heard of this historical philosopher. He's known as the father of modern medicine, or the father of Western medicine. And one of his quotes was, "All healing begins in the gut." So even at around 400 BC, give or take, some of the wisest philosophers understood that everything in the body is incredibly interconnected. And they also understood that our diet, the food and drink that we eat, and anything else that we put on or in our body will affect our body's ability to function, which means it affects your quality of health. Did you know that 80% of our immune system lives inside of the digestive system? That means if you want to have good immunity, you want to avoid colds and flu in the winter, you have to first begin with healing the digestive system. Did you know that 20% of thyroid function depends upon the integrity of the digestive system? Because that's where the thyroid hormones convert. And there's a reason we call our digestive system our second brain. The digestive system's health has strong ties to prevalent conditions in our country like autism or Alzheimer's. Another one of our important historical figures was Thomas Edison, who is known as the world's most prolific inventor, and he holds over 1,100 patents, which is incredible. I don't know if any of you out there listening are scientists or inventors or actually hold any patents, but the idea of having so many great ideas, 1,100 of them worth patenting, is incredible to me. One of his quotes was, "The doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame, in diet, and the cause and prevention of disease." The term cause and prevention is pretty important as well. So let's say you cut your finger and it bleeds a little bit, so you go ahead and put a Band-Aid on your finger. And within a few days, the cut ends up healing, there's no more blood, and you don't need a Band-Aid. Did that Band-Aid heal your cut? No, it didn't. So the same concept translates to cause and prevention. The best way to correct a problem in healthcare is to actually determine what the cause is. And an even better idea would be to do things now, today, to prevent these things from happening to us. So what is alternative healthcare, natural healthcare, holistic health? What is all of this about? Well, there are many modalities that would fit under the category of alternative healthcare. Could be anything from chiropractic care to acupuncture, Chinese herbs, massage therapy, homeopathy, colon hydrotherapy, and many others. Please forgive me if I've forgotten any. That was just a brief list off the top of my head. All of these modalities treat very differently, but they do share a couple of common themes. First of all, they're safe and they're effective. They're also natural, meaning they don't use drugs or surgery. And overall, their goal is always the same, which is to improve the body's ability to function, i.e. health, so that the body can do what it was meant to do, which is to heal itself. And just to clarify, when I said that these modalities were natural because they don't use drugs and surgery, that's not to say that these modalities are against drugs and surgery. They are not. They just believe that drugs and surgery are more risky and have more side effects, so they should be used as a last resort after exhausting any natural options first. And speaking of safety and effectiveness, did you know that the World Health Organization lists 20 conditions that acupuncture treats more effectively than prescription? And this list includes things like neck pain, back pain, some types of headaches, rheumatoid arthritis, and others. Did you know that conditions like diabetes and heart disease that plague our country will be greatly improved by the elimination of grains from the diet? Did you know that one of the main causes of skin conditions like eczema, psoriasis, rashes is actually a food intolerance? Did you know that research shows that chiropractic alignment of the upper neck decreases blood pressure? Or that massage therapy can boost the immune system by improving our lymphatic system function? Probiotic therapy as a nutritional supplement is indicated for rebuilding the gut after antibiotic use. While the traditional medical community offers no effective solution for fibromyalgia, there is a nutritional supplement program that I use in my office whose research proves a 70% improvement in symptoms. And this is very, very powerful. And I know you've heard a lot about fibromyalgia in our mass media recently. It's not a well-known condition from the perspective that the traditional community doesn't understand what causes it, and they don't have an effective solution. Did you know that research on optimal vitamin D levels shows strong correlation to cancer prevention? Meditation and energy work are so successful that they've been implemented into cancer treatment centers of America across the nation. Those were just a few of many examples of how alternative healthcare, safe, natural, and effective healthcare, can be implemented into our lifestyle and what types of conditions it can improve. But getting back to our discussion on pain, imagine that you are in the ocean and you're in a tiny little canoe all by yourself, and you see, peeking out of that water, multiple little beady alligator eyes. You know they're right there. They've surrounded your canoe. Are you worrying about what you're making for dinner later tonight? No, your only concern is to save your life, and you are very focused on the gators surrounding your boat. So to the body, having pain is like fighting the gator closest to the boat. It's the number one priority. And when you have pain, you have gators, the body cannot think about anything else. It can't think about, oh, hey, how are my thyroid hormones doing today? Oh, have I eliminated waste yet? Little finger, do you work okay? No, the body can't think about any of that. The body has to devote all of its healing and energy, nutrients, and attention to that gator. Having pain is also like peeling an onion. If you don't peel off that first layer, you won't get to what's beneath. So with pain being such a priority for the body to heal, and it being such a prevalent condition in this country, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Dr. Kristen, but what can I do today? Well, one of the things that we go over in my holistic health and pain class are my steps. I have a beginner, intermediate, and advanced list of multiple steps that I'd like you to complete in order to attain higher levels of function and support a real healthy lifestyle. So on this slide, I've listed the first 8 of the beginner's list, just to get you started. Number 1 is smoking cessation. If you haven't stopped smoking yet, this is the first thing you need to do. Smoking causes cancer, period, the end. It's not up for debate, it's wildly accepted. So smoking cessation is in the number 1 spot. Also, smokers have a hugely increased risk for more diseases and conditions, and it's very hard for the body to heal. Step number 2 is to implement 4 square breathing into your daily life. And this will only take you about 30 seconds at a time, and I'd like you to do it 2 times a day. First thing in the morning when you wake up, before you get out of bed, and I'd like you to do it right before you go to bed at night. It's called 4 square breathing to help you remember how to do it. This is the way that you'll breathe. You'll breathe in slowly through the nose for a count of 4. Hold. Out through the mouth for a count of 4. Hold. And you'll repeat that sequence of 4 things 4 times, which should take you about 30 seconds or less. And that's completed your 4 square breathing session. So 4 square breathing is in through the nose for 4, hold, out through the mouth for 4, hold. Repeat 4 times. Number 3 is sleep. Sleep is the body's time to heal. The best time to sleep is from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And I have the feeling that for many of you out there, number 3 is going to be one of your most challenging steps. Number 4 is to increase nutrition. Well, this is a really big topic within itself, and nutrition is discussed more heavily in the intermediate and advanced steps. But the first thing that you can do is you can use a daily nutritional supplement called a probiotic. This is one instance where getting a nutrient from its original form in food is not the best way to do this. This needs to be a nutritional supplement probiotic. And probiotics are the healthy bacteria for our gut. Now, many Americans have too much unhealthy bacteria because of the foods we consume and many other reasons. So probiotic helps heal the gut, which in turn makes our immune system stronger, helps our thyroid work better, and so many other things. Remember, all healing begins in the gut. Step number 5 is to eat breakfast. Did you know that breakfast skippers gain more weight? The best time to eat breakfast is 7 to 9 a.m. when the stomach is most energetically active. Step number 6 of the beginner's list is hydration. The 2 best beverages to consume are water and decaf green tea. If you are consuming soda, energy drinks, coffee, or anything of that nature, those have got to get cut out. Just water and green tea. Number 7 is to decrease your intake of sugar by 50%. Now, sugar is one of the most dangerous things in our food, and it's very sneaky. It is hidden and it's found everywhere. But at this stage in the beginner step, I want you to try to decrease this by 50%, which I think is a really reasonable goal to attain. And step number 8 on the beginner list is activity. You should be doing at least 30 minutes 3 times a week of activity. And with summer upcoming, that's the perfect time to do some brisk walking outdoors. I hope this list of the first 8 items on my beginner's list to the path for real health and wellness, a highly functioning body, of which a side effect is that you feel amazing, will get you started. The remainder of this information will be discussed on a course I'm having that's open to the general public. It's hosted by Harper College and myself, Dr. Kristen Bobick. It's called Holistic Health and Pain. We'll meet this fall, Thursdays at 7 p.m. Harper College's registration begins in July 2014, and the best way to register is by calling or Harper's website, and I would invite you to do so if you loved the information shared here today. Thank you so much for your attention, and I look forward to seeing you this fall.